Well, let me welcome you to The Road to the White House, MOOC, Massive Open Online Course, being taught at Pace University. I'm David Caputo, a professor of political science at Pace. And today we now have Iowa and New Hampshire behind us, both states providing us with very interesting results as we go forward. But I'm not really going to talk about either of those two states. I'm going to talk about what is happening over the next 2 weeks, especially as we build up to Super Tuesday, March 1st, 2016, where to date the single largest number of delegates will be chosen for both the Democrats and Republicans. It's an extremely important date. Between March 1st and March 15th, I would argue that after March 15th, we should have a very good idea as to whether or not we're going to have a nominee in either party, or if it's the campaign is going to go on and end up on the convention floor. So let's just talk about what the Democrats have ahead for them. They have two things ahead. First, they have the caucuses in the state of Nevada, and those are on the 20th of February. So this begins the process of selecting 35 delegates. Now, Secretary Clinton in 2008 did not do well in the caucus states. Barack Obama did very well in terms of having the appropriate organization. Secretary Clinton has said she will not make that mistake again. Senator Sanders has said he thinks the caucus states he will do very well in. So it will come down to a matter of organization and so forth. But the Nevada caucuses on the 20th will be important to both candidates, both in terms of momentum, both in terms of trying to get things ready as they go build and go into March 1st. So for the Democrats on 2/20, the Nevada caucuses, and there you begin the process of selecting 35 different delegates to the Democratic Convention. Then in South Carolina, a week later, on 2/27, the Democrats are selecting 53 delegates, and they do, since it's a primary, those will be selected proportionally. Now, it is an open primary, which means that voters from either independent or Republican voters can cross over and vote in the other party's primary if they choose to. South Carolina is considered a watershed state for Secretary Clinton for the following reasons. Has a significant minority population, and the argument is that the Clinton name and the Clinton heritage will do a great deal to help her win that large proportion of that vote. If that's the case, she should win the majority of the delegates. Remember, 53 of the delegates are being selected. The argument is that Senator Sanders is at a disadvantage in South Carolina because he's dealing with constituencies which are far different than the earlier New Hampshire and Iowa. And who will be right remains to be seen. But I would argue that the Sanders message in terms of a revolution and of trying to rebalance American society ought to have some appeal to the less affluent within the minority community and to others within the minority community, because he is arguing for a much more dramatic set of changes than Secretary Clinton is. So this South Carolina is important. Why? Because the bulk of the states on March 1 are southern states. So how this state goes may be a harbinger of what might happen in other states on March 1st. Now for the Republicans, they have their Nevada caucuses on 2/23. They'll begin the process of selecting 27 delegates. It's a closed process. You have to be a Republican, and it'll be the first major test for the different candidates in the West. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. And then the Republicans also have, in terms of South Carolina, they have South Carolina on 2/20, and there they're going to be electing 21 district delegates and 26 at-large delegates. So 47 delegates are going to be selected in the Republican primary in South Carolina. South Carolina altogether has 50 seats, but 3 seats are again reserved for party leaders. So it's an open primary. So Donald Trump may want to encourage Democrats, especially working class Democrats, to come over and vote in the Republican primary. Again, this is important for the Republican candidates because March 1st becomes such an important date. The governors, the 3 governors that are still in the race, it'll be very interesting to see how they do as mainstream candidates in a very conservative state, a state that has large number of evangelicals, and a state that is conservative on many issues. So you would expect Trump, Cruz, and perhaps Rubio and Carson to do well in South Carolina. So you have to realize that while these 2 contests, the Nevada caucuses and the South Carolina primary, are important in and of themselves, they're also important in terms of momentum builders. Okay? And both candidates on the Democratic side and all the candidates on the Republican side want to do well there as they build. At the same time, however, they're all going to be moving and spending probably less time in South Carolina and more time in the states on March 1st where they think they might do better, or at least as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how much time each candidate spends in the state, what type of organization they have in the state, and whether or not they're banking on doing well on March 1st. Therefore, they might not put as much effort into Nevada and South Carolina. They would not say that, but you have to watch their travel and where they're going as they prepare for March 1st. Because now is the time, really with less than 2 weeks till the March 1st primaries, now is the time for them to buttress, build up their organization in those states, and also build up their personal appearances. So watch them selectively picking the states where they think they have a chance to pick delegates up. So Nevada, South Carolina, both important, especially given in this election cycle, more important than usual in the cycle. Nonetheless, a stepping stone really from both of those into the March 1st Super Tuesday primaries. Okay, thank you.